Hey guys, Lee Stewart here. I'm going to answer a question that I get almost daily from the people that follow my Instagram, my YouTube, that see the thumbnails and sometimes use my videos. Question is, how do I get such clean photos off of my GoPro cameras? So first I'm going to say I'm working with the GoPro Hero4 Black and the GoPro Hero4 Session. A lot of the other GoPro cameras will do the same functions that these things do. I know some of the older ones can't, but I don't know a whole lot about those things. I have a few of them and I never really messed with the photo mode until I started getting these things going. So I'm pretty much going to just focus on these cameras. If your cameras have the same settings, then they will work for you. If they don't, you're shit out of luck. So these settings will work for getting action photos, selfies, or pretty much anything else. So the first thing you need to know is that good light is the best possible thing you can have. These things don't have the greatest shutters and light sensors in them, say like a DSLR camera would. So a situation where it's a cloudy day, a dusk, nighttime, poorly lit room, your photos will turn out kind of blurry and smudgy. There are ways to definitely get around this. I can talk about that a little bit later. But for now, the first thing that you're aiming for is, brightly lit room, sunny day, things like that. Next, I pretty much leave it in the time-lapse mode the entire time. I always set it up to take a shot every half a second. I know these things have a whole bunch of different photo modes, single shots, bursts, things like that. I find that the time-lapse mode is probably the most practical for me anyways, and probably for most people that aren't super advanced, GoPro users. For me it's practical because I'm riding the entire time, so I don't really have the opportunity to press a button to get burst shots and things like that. So that I can just leave it on, let it take pictures forever, and make sure I capture the moment that I'm looking for. It's even super practical for taking pictures of friends, family, selfies, things like that, because someone's always gonna blink, someone's always gonna make a stupid ass face, and my favorite one that I like to make fun of the most, that there's almost always a girl in pictures that's gonna make you retake that thing 40, 50 fucking times so that she looks just right to put it on Instagram. So this way, everybody's happy, you're gonna get a clean shot, let it run, sit there, hold that thing for as long as you need, and you're gonna get something good. So to set myself up, I always go through the app on my phone because I'm always controlling 2 or more GoPros at a time when I'm out filming. And also because the Hero4 Session, the only way that you can get in through some of these modes is through the app, which isn't super smart, but it's a tiny little camera. That's only so much they can pack into this thing. So first I'll get into my session. Let's turn this thing on, get it hooked up. Oh, I can update it right now? Shit. Sure, I just say that you can't get through some of these settings unless you go through the app and an update pops up that now you can. Well, now I look like an idiot. Update that shit. Bam. So if you don't know how to cycle through the settings or the app on your phone, go look it up in your manual, other YouTube videos. If I explain all this in one video, it's going to be a half-hour long. People are going to be bored out of their minds, and nobody really wants that. So there you go. So I guess while that's updating, I'll talk about the Hero4 Black. The first thing that you want to do, whether you're taking pictures or filming, anything like that, is turn on protune mode. Protune compresses the files less, and you're going to get crisper pictures, crisper video, things like that. It'll eat up a little more storage, but not a whole lot, and you'll be happy with it in the long run. Hey, it's done. So now we're all connected up to our app. We're going to go down in the settings, into multi-shot settings. Protune is turned on. We're going to set the interval to half second, 12 megapixels wide. White balance is set to auto. Unless you're a pro photographer, I don't recommend touching that. As well as the color, I leave GoPro color on. Unless you're very good with something like Photoshop, then I would leave that alone. So next we have the ISO limit. What the ISO limit controls is how sensitive the image sensor is to light. So on a bright day, well-lit room, I'll leave that cranked wide open. I believe on the Hero4 Black, the highest it can go is 800 and 1600 on the session. But in a low light situation, I will turn the ISO down to about 200 or 400. Because having a high ISO in a low light situation will produce a ton of grain and noise in your photos, especially in the dark areas, and it'll make them really ugly and almost unusable. You will end up with a darker photo out of it, but that's super easy to edit out later, brighten up in post, so nothing to worry about. Sharpness, because I'm in motion most of the time, I usually set that to low or medium. The session only has on or off, so I turn it on. But on the Hero4 Black, you have options between low, medium, and high. I usually stick to low. That way it softens edges in case there is any, weird stuff going on when I'm moving really fast. All right, well now the hard part, low light situations. Capturing photos with these things in low light is a pain in the ass. Especially if you're doing stuff like I'm doing where you're in motion. It's very hard to get things that aren't blurry, but it is possible. Now I'm not going to get super in depth on the low light stuff or the night lapse stuff. If you guys really want to see it, let me know and I'll make another video about it. So the first key is having a solid mounting setup, either on a tripod, something like this handlebar mount here. Sometimes I'll mount it to the side of my gas tank or like my fender or something like that. And so it's nice and solid. The camera's not moving. There's a little bit less chance of blur. Another key point is making sure your subject stays as still as possible. For me, I know this is very hard because I'm riding a motorcycle while I'm taking pictures, and that's nearly impossible. So for me to get, wheelie photos, stunt photos, things like that in low light or nighttime, kind of out of the question, and it sucks. I've tried a bunch of different ways and I've gotten some okay stuff, but I've definitely gotten good results with, just riding photos or, cool burnout shots or things like that where I can stay still. And how I've done that is in night lapse mode. So with night lapse mode, you can set up the shutter to be open to grab more light from anywhere between 2 seconds through 30 seconds, I believe. And what that does is gather as much light as possible in the scene, holds the shutter open, and will make you actually make a really, really cool photo. Which is cool for things, like light painting, photography type stuff. I've actually gotten a few cool ones while I'm riding. So another way to get photos off of these things is through video screen grabs. I know for me and for a lot of other people it's kind of a last ditch effort, but if you have it set up right, you can actually get some pretty good stuff. So the key is finding a balance between frame rate and resolution. The highest resolution on the Hero4 session is 1080. You got 4K, of course, on the Hero4 Black. So for the Black edition, I pretty much always shoot in 2.7K at 60 frames per second. That way I can grab screen grabs, do real nice smooth slow-mos in my footage, things like that. And on the Hero4 session, same thing, I use 60 frames per second at 1080. Seems to work pretty good. So the reason for 60 frames per second for especially things like screen grabs is you're gonna have a lot more frames to go through, plus you're not gonna get any of those weird points of pixelation or blurriness between frames, especially if you're in like fast motion or something like that. You have a lot better chance of grabbing something clean out of those between all the frames you have to work with. If you guys don't know what I mean by video screen grabs, let's open up my trusty MacBook Pro here and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so we have a clip loaded up. Let's throw that on and see if we can grab something from it. So, already right there we got a pretty clean shot. Now let's just move frame by frame until you find the one that you want. And alright, I think we got a winner there. So, let's screenshot that shit. Bam. So, let's send that to my phone so I can edit it and make it look cool and see what we get. So after you've gotten your photos from a video screen grab, from time lapse, from whatever, the next thing you want to do is edit your photos. always edit your photos. It makes them pop out a little more, and it's really not as hard as people make it out to be. I don't know jack shit about editing photos, and my stuff looks pretty good. So I'm going to show you in another video a really easy way that I do it right off my phone, and hopefully that helps you guys out. Alright, so that's how I get my GoPro photos. Hopefully it helps out anybody that's been asking me, or any new people that might watch this video. I think it's a real easy way to get nice, clean, crisp photos for people that aren't super camera oriented or lazy like me. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out. If you like this video, thumbs up that shit, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys later. Refreshment break.